We begin this morning on a somber note in Sutherland Springs, Texas, a rural town just east of San Antonio, where on a quiet, dusty road, there sits a little house of worship, the First Baptist Church, which doesn't have an organ. It doesn't have colorful stained glass. It has just a simple red door that opens wide every Sunday morning to welcome parishioners there. Outside, the flags of the Lone Star State and the United States wave proudly, Texas style. It's an unassuming white church, the kind with plastic letters on a sign reminding neighbors of the annual Fall Fest, as it did just days ago on Halloween. But yesterday it became the latest sign that something in our culture is off. Something is just wrong. From concerts in Las Vegas, movies in Colorado, nightclubs in Orlando, a first-grade classroom in Sandy Hook. They used to be places of celebration, of escape, of community, of learning. And now they are also potential battlegrounds where gunshots suddenly and too often ring out. Those of us who watch are shell-shocked, stuck somewhere between scared and desensitized. We're horrified, but we're never quite resolved enough to actually do something meaningful about it. Is change even possible? Is it? How do we stop someone determined to unleash hell in a free society? Change the gun laws? The mental health system? Address the isolation and anger so pervasive in our country right now? All of the above? We feel powerless. Nothing ever seems to change in the wake of these tragedies, and so we take stock. Not of our progress, but of the victims. One here, a 5-year-old, another 72, a third, the 14-year-old daughter of the church's pastor. 26 people were killed yesterday. 26 who walked into that white church with the red door, with their neighbors and with their God to pray and to sing. Even without an organ, they sing at First Baptist. And then yesterday, shots rang out. And now the rest of us are left to remember that we are still us. We, America, Americans, don't surrender our ideals to madmen. We cry, we mourn, we consider. We admit that too often we find ourselves in danger these days, in places that should not be dangerous. But we are still free. We still love. We still pray, and we still sing. For more from the scene in Sutherland Springs, Texas, we're joined now by Craig Melvin. Craig, thank you so much for being here. And I know that that sense of community throughout all of this has not been lost in Sutherland Springs.
Megyn, it is certainly not. In fact, last night, right where I stand, there was a candlelight vigil. We are just a stone's throw from the church. You can see it behind me, but dozens gathered here. They sang, as you mentioned, they prayed, and they did what communities and situations like this have unfortunately been doing a lot these days. They came together trying to hold each other up, trying to make sense of what happened here. And here's the thing, this is how tiny this town is. We're talking about 30 miles southeast of San Antonio, 500 people. And that may be a liberal estimate. Roughly 500 people live here. The whole town knows each other. There are only 2 churches in the town. There's literally one stoplight. It's behind me. And 8 of the people died. 8 of the folks who died in that church were from the same family. Everyone in this town knows someone who died in that church. I talked to the sheriff, a longtime sheriff here in Wilson County, a few moments ago, and he said that, as you might imagine, this has just been an absolute punch in the gut.
So where does the investigation go from here, Craig?
So we've learned in the past hour or two, the why. That's always the question here. We now know that the gunman's in-laws, his ex-wife's parents, worshiped at the church. They were not at the church yesterday. They did come in the aftermath to check on friends, to check on family, but they weren't at the church. But we know that they worshiped here. We also know that the gunman was essentially booted out of the military. He was court-martialed for assaulting his wife, assaulting their child. There's some confusion over precisely how it was that this guy came to actually get a gun, but investigators working from what has unfortunately become quite the template in cases like this. They are reviewing social media. They're looking at his communications on his cell phone. We were told, the sheriff did mention that they did not find a note. The survivors, their neighbors, say that they didn't hear him screaming anything when he left the church. So it's the outstanding question continues to be, as in situations like this, unfortunately now, why? Why would someone do something like this?
Craig, thank you. As we mentioned, Sutherland Springs is a town of just several hundred people, and now 26 of them are gone.
The loss is hard to bear.
To hear the people you know were hurt that bad and that just died.
Children like 14-year-old Annabelle Pomeroy, the adopted daughter of church pastor Frank Pomeroy and his wife Sherry.
Annabelle was the sweetest thing you imagine. She was always smiling, always friendly to everybody. Didn't matter who you were. She'd come up, even if somebody she just met, she'd act like she knew him and she was their best friend.
Sandy Ward's granddaughter, Emily, was gravely wounded. Her 5-year-old grandson, Ryland, shot 5 times. Overnight, as mourners gathered at a vigil, families hoped for word about relatives, an agonizing wait.
He was so good to me. I'm his only daughter.
This woman says her father was at the church and she hadn't heard from him since the massacre.
That's how, I got all the attention. I was spoiled. And he was a hard worker. A very, very good man.
Another woman, a lifelong parishioner at this church, told us she knew most of the victims. Her own life may have been spared on Sunday because she overslept.
Why? Out of our church, why? Why do we do it?
Why indeed? And can any answer satisfy? Some of the gunman's bullets struck Kevin Jordan's home nearby.
Why would you do this to people like that are just praying, they're just worshiping? Why would you attack them on something on a Sunday when they're defenseless?
But through the tears, there is also resolve.
We're really tight. We're either friends with friends or we're friends and family. I mean, different towns come to this one church, and even if you don't go there, you still know everybody that does. I mean, the guy only brought us closer by doing this.
How do you make sense of a case in which a 5-year-old gets shot 5 times? 26 people are dead. I mean, what does it say about us, right? What are we going to do about it? All of the victims are in our prayers this morning.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.